my gosh.
Okay.
And
every time I see scenes of Kamen Rider Amazon, I'm reminded why that series only got 20-something episodes.
anyways, this is Tokusatsu Action Thursday Night Titans, episode number 10. Wow.
Nice.
And that was a cool intro. Anubis made the clips and stuff, but I did the music, the new music.
Music worked out well. Looks good. Sounds good.
Yeah, I feel it gelled. It gelled.
It gelled.
And we are talking about 1965's invasion of the Astro-Monster. Also, we have a new guest on this stream in Gojira 851.
Hello. How are y'all doing?
What's up?
Thank you for having me.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for being here.
You want to introduce yourself, what you do and stuff?
I am Gojira 851. I have my own YouTube channel under the same name, Gojira 851. I am also a contributor in the Sci-Fi Society, where I work alongside the Tokusatsu Shogun, Mr. Ulban Wolf. I've also worked alongside Mr. JEDI Grand VELLE and had the pleasure of meeting him in person at G-Fest. Kamen Rider Geek, I've only met very recently. I look forward to working with him. And recently, Mr. DJ Anubis, I've met him very recently as well. Very awesome dude. And I've had several streams with him on his channel over the Metal Tavern Radio. We just got done reviewing the first season of Devil May Cry on Netflix. Lots of fun. We had a few laughs. We cried a little bit. And
basically,
and lots of fun stuff. And I have the pleasure of being on this show tonight, and we are going to talk about a film I have come around on over the years, Invasion of the Astro-Monster. And good stuff. All right, enough of me.
Enough of me. Just thinking about this movie and stuff, and I mean, it's a good film. Is it great? Is it the best? That's to be decided by somebody, because I don't judge. It's like this with me with films, like the Tokusatsu stuff. I judge it for a couple of categories. Like, one, I judge the effects, because the effects are what makes Tokusatsu. The set, the costuming, and the costumes in this really are cool. They still gel well after a previous movie that introduced King Ghidorah, if I'm saying it how they said it in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, and this is also his first name of Monster Zero. But I also, the characters and stuff, that's, as a film reviewer, you're looking for the stuff that intrigues you enough to go into a movie and dissect it to the point where you go from point A to point B to point C to point D and beyond.
Look, depending on how many alphabets you have, we will see how it goes from there.
I like this.
Oh God! Well, maybe so.
I need the laughter. This crazy year. I don't want to talk about it, but I've just had one roller coaster year.
We all had a roller coaster year, brother. It's been rough.
Oh yeah, I'm only 4 months in.
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome to 2025.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to stay alive.
Yeah, and the best way to I was gonna have Geek start us with this one, because so funny with me, it's like after the astronauts and the aliens.
Do we want to break down for the viewers like what this one's actually about, like just in terms of plot, or?
Yeah, it's about astronauts in the year 1960, 196X. I don't know what X means in terms of.
That
years.
might be a typo.
Nope.
You look at the wiki.
Nope. It's that's what it says.
Yeah.
196X.
Yep. That's.
Oh, really?
Yep. Oh yeah. It's a theme. It's a theme. Oh yes.
It's a theme I don't understand, but I mean, it's a theme.
Yeah.
I've seen video games do it like in the year 20XX.
Yeah, they do the same thing in Godzilla versus Megalon in the Japanese cut. So it's unheard of.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But anyways, it's in the year 196X, and astronauts Fuji and Glenn, they are sent to investigate the surface of the mysterious planet X, recently detected on the far side of Jupiter. And that's, I guess, the basics of trying to investigate the planet. Like, they think something weird is going on, something mysterious, and
I mean, it's a brand new planet they hadn't seen before. I'm guessing that's something worth investigating.
Oh yeah, I want some of that.
And I just want to add something that's kind of true to facts. Some of you might not remember this. I'm thinking Anubis might remember this. There was a moment where an actual planetoid entered our solar system back in the late 80s, early 90s, and that's something that's been just not relevant anymore. Is that it came in, but somehow they were able to detect it, and it was not that far from what they did in Invasion, But I mean, like I say, no one talks about it anymore because, in retrospect, it would take thousands of years for it to enter or get to where it's going to be settled, But that's something that happened that was on the news for a while and then just kind of faded into obscurity, So it's like almost, art. I mean, reality imitating art to a degree,
Mm-hmm.
Want to throw that out there.
I like how you just point at art to a degree, and all that spatial. But anyways, when they detect on the far side of Jupiter is actually a humanoid species called the Xylenes.
Zillions.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And they are led by the leader, the controller.
Yes.
The aliens usher the astronauts into their underground base, and Monster Zero is Monster Zero is unleashed.
Yes, it attacks the surface of the planet X.
Mm-hmm. See, when I watch,
they find out that they're like not the only ones that are there. Like Fuji sees like footprints, and then he's trying to contact Glenn, but Glenn's not responding. Then they have like those little pop-up doors that show up out of the ground.
Enter the cylinder.
Yeah, get in cylinder or you die. And of course they get in there, and that's when they basically reveal themselves in humanoid form, and they see Ghidorah coming in the screen, like they have a nice big screen TV to watch him.
Right.
Yeah. Planet. So basically, the Zillion's like, yeah, this is our threat here, and of course, Fuji and Glenn have seen this creature before. They know it as Ghidorah, King Ghidorah, and they say, well, we use everything by numbers. Does it still?
Yeah, I like how the controller does that. It's like silent.
So they call it Monster Zero. And of course, that also gets referenced in King of the Monsters many, many years later. So it's kind of neat. But yeah, so basically, that's just kind of what happens. They're trying to, I think they're just trying to see if they discover the planet. I don't think they really expected to run into aliens there, but that's what ends up happening.
Hey, Sentry.
We understand, brother. We totally understand.
It's fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, good, brother.
Sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
We got your back because it's we do this, but we got your back.
We do this.
Yep.
Do this.
Yes, we do.
I already stole her catchphrase, Sentry. Don't worry about
it.
And the monster leaves, and so after they've recognized the as King Ghidorah's Monster Zero, a planet-destroying monster that attacked Earth once before, the monster leaves. The controller states that Ghidorah has been attacking repeatedly, forcing them to live underground in constant fear. So they're scared of Ghidorah because they probably think that he could get killed by him or something if he doesn't have control of him. And that's just my perspective of it right there. He requests to borrow the Earth monsters Godzilla and Rodan to act as protectors to fight it once more. I was going to say the dub references something different than the sub in this movie.
Which it always does.
So I've got a little footnote here. It said...
real quick, I'm sorry, Alvin. I think Anthony's trying to join.
Oh, okay. I just noticed it. Sorry.
It's all good.
Sorry. You're good.
There he is, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony was
There he is. There you are, brother.
Technical difficulties.
It's
all good.
You're good, brother. You're
all good, brother. Nothing.
Yeah,
we're doing it live, so everything's gonna have its.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Right.
And it says in the dub, so to find it once more, he requests to borrow the Earth monsters Godzilla and Rodan to act as protectors to fight it once more. Since 1964, in return for the cure for cancer, the English dub says that the formula can cure any disease. And I don't know what it would say in the Japanese, but
it's primarily cancer. It's they in the sub is saying it's a cure for. I think it's a cure for cancer, but in the dub, it's a cure for all diseases.
When we did the watch party, we watched it through the dub, and I thought I can catch on with the dub more than the sub with some of these older movies. I mean, I'm sure there's not a lot of differences in terms of shows and movies because I mean with Tokusatsus and stuff, like we have America Power Rangers, and then you have the Super Sentai, which is a Japanese version, and there's differences there, but I don't know if there's many differences between the sub and the dub in the Godzilla movies.
Well, understand this, and you want to take it to Gojira? Because I was about to say something, but I figure you might have a better take on it than me.
There's subtle differences. Like some music cues are a little different. Some of the dialogue's a little different. Like we can see with The Cure, like it's worded differently. But for the most part, they're essentially the same story. There's a couple of little things here and there sprinkled. It's a little different, but it's essentially the same. Go ahead, Anthony.
So the opening credits music is different.
Yes, whenever a Godzilla film, especially in the Showa era, was localized, it's like King Kong versus Godzilla was the biggest culprit of this. And they actually took music from the Universal monster films and actually put that
in Black Lagoon.
Yeah, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and actually put that in instead of Akira Fukube's music instead, which
even Universal was bad for like recycling that piece with the monsters. Like it worked for the Creature from the Black Lagoon, but when you put it in a movie with the other monsters, it just didn't work. So why they thought it would work for Godzilla?
They've just been sitting there for a while, and I'm like, everyone forgot about them.
Yeah.
It's just
so.
But the funny thing is, just a few years before, when Godzilla Raised Again came out, they incorporated majority of that film with the score from Chronos. You know,
There you
they
go.
use they use other music, but Kronos was how can I say, the culprit music for that film. You know, and I actually believe that was the music for that film until I realized, oh, you do have movies that are dubbed, they're subbed, they're changed around in terms of their style of music. You know, and then when I finally did hear the final original cue, you know, from Sato for the film, it's like, oh, this is a different take on it. You know, so it's like it's funny how in America they switch around things just so. And this is what's weird to me. I'm just make this real quick. This is what's so weird to me is like somebody in the marketing department say, let's see if we can kind of dumb it down enough for Western eyes or ears to understand what's going on. It's like, I'm like, really? You think that they're not going to get what someone in Asiatic countries are saying or expressing? It's like that's almost an insult to a degree. You know, I feel like that literally is what they're doing. But you know, but that's just my opinion on that.
I second that.
Our own studios have always treated American audiences like idiots with localization.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, like in Godzilla Returns, which in America was Godzilla 1985. In the original Japanese, the Russians are not the bad guys. The Russians actually the scene where the nuclear missile gets launched, the Russians tried to stop it. But when it came to America, they re-edited to make it look like the fucking Russians were doing their best to launch that fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean that was the, and you got to remember, this was during the Cold War.
Yeah.
This was during the time when, you know, America and Russia were at each other's throats. And they say, well, we got to show that the Russians are really meticulous and, you know, want to destroy American soil. I'm like, really? I mean, we got to go there. I mean, you making that way too political, even though we could say some films of Godzilla stature are a little political to a degree, but not to the point where it's like, can we not just throw that to our face and saying that they literally are totally bad? Because no one should want a war, but unfortunately, this is the bullshit that, you know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Living in America.
Like this, exactly, sci-fi. You're right about that, though. But that's
hand across the nation.
A heart of gold.
I was gonna say, when we were watching this movie, Anthony summed up this movie to how I feel about it also, but I'll let, when we get dissect, you know, like his score and stuff, I'll let him talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So an inventor named Tetsuo has designed a personal alarm that emits an ear-splitting electric siren. He sells it to a businesswoman named Namikawa, but she disappears before paying him. I like how you also put out the comment, Anubis, about how you love how is it Takarada? Is that?
Oh, Takarada.
Takarada is a whole. I could have seen him be the multiverse of Stan Lee, and I like this comment right here.
Yeah.
Anyone noticed with this invention some parallels with Godzilla versus Kong?
Yeah.
So I can
Because you have a similar setup where the sister's boyfriend isn't respected by her brother, and he has this goofy invention that no one takes seriously until the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we'll have to talk about the end, because for me, the ending of this movie is what kind of makes me just pause, because just how when we get there, we'll talk about it, because it's yeah.
When we get there. Yes. But, you know, talking about Tokusatsu, the inventor, I'm trying to say his name, and I'm bad. The introduction to him, you know, and I'm not sure if that was his sister or whatever, you know, that's
neighbor, I think.
Neighbor. Well, okay, I have to point something out. And I got to say this, because if I don't say it now, I might never say it. Maybe not get mentioned. You know, anywhere notice the baby that's on her shoulders, on a backpack and everything. Notice how when we first see the baby, it gives off just like kind of expression. When we cut back, because when he says like, "Oh, what did you think about it?" It's like here, you can hear it down the street. Notice the baby gives no such of an expression at all. He's just like, I had to take my glasses to do it. It's like
the kid was waiting for a bus.
it's like it's like, I'm not sure if it's a girl or a boy, but the fact of the matter is, no expression whatsoever. It's like he doesn't care if it's it doesn't care if it's like, well, there's cameras all around him, it's a baby, they're gonna react to it, but it's like no reaction. It's like it's just that this, and that's and the funny thing is, this is the thing I have to parallel with in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. There's a scene where there's a little child in a scene where everything's getting toppled around and everything, whatever. And this baby, and you can tell it's a girl, but this baby gives the same kind of expression, no kind of, because it's like you've been terrorized by something that stumped your kind of destroy your city in some way. But this same scenario happens in this movie where this little girl, just like no expression. I mean, it's like, wow, it's like that. I mean, what I'm saying is, it's like, it's funny how you had a child like almost 30 years beforehand give out some of the best acting to this little girl doing the same thing. And it's like, that's some of the best acting I've seen with infants, better than some you see in Hollywood, And I just had to point that out because it's strange that they're not crying, they're not being sad, they're not being angry, they're just like emotionless. I was like, well, okay, I guess maybe they're just stunned by the moment. But with the baby in the invasion, you feel like, why is it doing that? But for the girl, maybe she's doing it because she's experienced a horrific event. But again, as I say, you have very, very, incredible child actors or baby actors who are acting way better than some, Western actors, in my opinion. I had to point that out because I feel like that's something that's overlooked a lot of times, those little details, but I had to point that out just to get that out there.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
It makes it more fun, the small details, that people notice, and we, I like that about the streams. You go into details, you pick out stuff that people, when you're watching the movie, you don't notice it. And then afterwards, it's like, exactly what you're saying. Tetsuo is romantically involved with Fuji's sister, but Fuji disapproves, finding him unworthy of Harano. Tetsuo sees Namikawa with Glenn and later follows her, but he is captured and imprisoned by Xylene spies. One thing that, to me, I didn't like the design of the Xylenes that much, but it's because they just look like these controller, like
they look like rejects from the band Devo.
Right before Devo was Devo, yeah.
Yeah. Dare to be stupid.
Oh.
Oh my God, you've got one.
Yeah.
That's a good stat.
Yeah, that's not bad. We're not bad on either.
Dude.
Yeah, this is from the Rick Boy X Plus Godzilla from the same movie. So yeah, this is the Rick Boy exclusive. So yeah, has a little pointy shoes.
Oh God, I didn't know they had pointy shoes. Oh my
God.
Yes.
No, I did not know that.
Oh yeah,
I never noticed that.
It's little small details.
Yep.
And also, I'm pretty sure anybody can notice that they got no ass. It's got a very flat ass.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not trying to say I'm trying to stare, but it's like y'all got no ass whatsoever. Y'all been taking
not a very flattering costume, but still, they had their charm. Their charm, but the costume needed a little more to be desired. But still, it had its charm, though.
Yeah, it did.
Oh,
Yep. And I love that line too. You do something like spectacular. That is. No.
If that costume wouldn't have looked out of place in a '60s episode of Star Trek.
Right.
No,
Well, yeah. See, that's the thing. You guys remember, it was the '60s. You know, they had a very special costuming back then. You remember the Klingons from the original Star Trek show? You know, things were a little more outlandish back then. You know, it fit the time. Now, if he dressed up like that and say Godzilla Final Wars, then maybe it would have been a little more weirder.
Godzilla Final Wars, they made him look like fucking Japanese heavy metal singers and shit.
I'm sorry, but I would have taken the Final Wars design over this design.
But still,
because it's just fabulous. But
but imagine if the guys in Final Wars looked like that.
Yeah, the movie wouldn't have done as well.
Yeah.
Probably not.
But still, you know, I'm not trying to pick on it. It's just saying that's just the way it was in the '60s. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean, you mentioned Klingons, they were made to look like Puerto Ricans in Golden Bay.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna go back to the '60s.
The '60s, man. You got to remember, the '60s was it was a time, and we got to remember there was a lot going on back there. There was a space race, there was Vietnam, you know, different kind of energy crisis, and also with United States and Russia bucking heads at one another. So I guess they had to do some expression. The deal with the insanity of what the '60s was, and to think about it, to me that was kind of the normal thing, seeing outrageous things like what Andy mentioned, but the Star Trek, and seeing the costumes with the Zillions. I mean, it's like, it's just that, I think. And
also remember, we had Frank Gorshin running around as the Riddler as well. Remember how Adam West looked as Batman as well. I'm not picking on them. That's just the way it was back then. That's just the way the costume department was. And,
I mean, remember, and I was going to say, when you brought up Batman, I mean, when Adam West did the famous Batman dance where he's
back to see
doing this, and I was like,
Walter, he's talking about you.
I know. I see that. Look, anybody who's got a flat ass, you just can't, it's like, wow, that's flat. But you get what I'm saying, though. I mean, it's that was the most outlandish time, and I think you have to be like that just to say, okay, well, we're gonna get away with anything. I mean, things are weird now, so might as well get away with doing this, And it's like I said before, it seemed normal. Things were normal with that.
I was Glenn and Fuji. Wait, are you gonna say something?
No. I was saying continue. This is your baby. So I just want to step in there and say something.
You know what's funny? When I was gonna say this is Kevin's favorite Godzilla movie.
That's cool.
That's good.
Oh, Kevin's awesome. That man is endorsed. He can love whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He can.
Glenn and Fuji began to worry that the Xylenes may have ulterior motives. Their suspicions appear confirmed when 3 Xylene spacecraft appear in Japan. The controller apologizes for coming to Earth without permission. The Xylenes locate Godzilla and Rodan both sleeping and use their technology to transport them to Planet X.
Yeah, I mean,
this is when the movie starts to pick up. This is when the movie starts to get fun for me. Okay, when you bring in Godzilla and Rodan, now we're talking. Now I can start, getting in on this. Okay, because in the previous film, Gojira, three-headed monster, Godzilla and Rodan and Mothra, they kick the shit out of Gojira by the end of the film and drive him off. That's what leads into Gojira flying out to space and going to Planet X and destroying them and driving them underground. So they come to Earth, acting like they're all helpless, but now they're showing that, hey, wait a minute, they can just come to Earth willy-nilly and we won't know anything about it. But oh no, we're still friends. Don't worry about it. We're still friends. We just want to borrow Godzilla and Rodan. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Yeah, don't worry. We got something fun for you guys afterwards. See, we got a grand old prize for you guys later. Don't worry about it. Okay, we'll take Godzilla and Rodan off your hands. Don't worry about it.
Relax.
Yeah, just relax. Yeah, just relax. We got chocolate chip cookies over here for you. Okay, don't worry about it.
Musa, yes.
Yeah, so that's when they drop off Godzilla and Rodan on Planet X. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack the show. Oliver, we still could keep going, or you want to keep going?
Yeah, keep going, man. You're
actually in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, he was under their control even back then. They just didn't think anything could stop him.
Okay.
I
I didn't
even know that until Anthony said that.
Well, it's a theory.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
So Godzilla and Rodan, they get out of their bubbles after being transported, which is a very interesting transportation sequence that they have, showing how Godzilla and Rodan are transported. You know, they're all in like these water bubbles, which we come to find out for the Exilians that Rodan don't even do that. Yeah, exactly. But we come to find out that they need water more than anything, which they'll play into later, but trust me. So it's just fun to see how that they're transport. Godzilla, is curled up almost like in a fetal position, curling his tail, where Rodan is wrapped up, with his wings and everything, all sleeping and everything like a baby, pretty much. They look helpless, but still the king of the monsters and the fire demon pretty much being transported through space at rocket speeds. And it's just, they get from plan A to plan B in like moments, which for the sake of the plot, just go with it. Okay. It took them forever to get blah, 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 blah. Okay. So they get to Planet X. Here comes Gojira right on cue, or is he on cue? Whatever. And then Godzilla and Rodan start fighting him. Now, in Gojira 3 A Monster, remember, they needed Mothra, to kind of work together to overcome Gojira, where in this film, Godzilla and Rodan defeat Gojira themselves and drive him off in a pretty fun fight. Now, they're breathing in space. I don't care. A rule of cool. I don't care. All right, they're having fun. It's a fun fight. And then we have the very fun Godzilla dance of victory. Something we haven't seen him do in the film since then, but he has done in video games and comic books across, time and space and all the other stuff.
I didn't even know it was in the comics and stuff. I haven't even read the comics for Godzilla.
Well, it actually turns out that the dance is actually an imitation of something from a manga called Omasatsu Kun. It's a she gag, and that's what they based it upon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't
apparently too, Honda did not want that to be in the film.
I was going to say Honda. I think both Honda and Nakajima. And I'm not sure. I don't think it was Subaraya, but Nakajima did not want to do this particular move. He didn't want to do this dance. He didn't want to do this at all. He's like that's humanizing him way too much by seeing him. But the way I look at it now, I'm thinking it's more like because the gravity is not so heavy there. I mean, he can do it, but I think it's more like, hey, we defeated them and I'm just having fun. I'm just like, yes, I'm, triumph, but again, this is something as Anubis said, Honda did not want to do that. He did not.
He was against giving the monsters any human attributes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're monsters as opposed to be life-threatening.
So Gojira is driven off. The day is won in record-setting time because it took it was a lengthy sequence in Gojira 3 A Monster for them to eventually drive him off. It was like the last almost half hour of the
minute 30-second, not even a minute.
Yeah, it took almost like a half hour pretty much for them to, maybe it's hyperbole, maybe I'm misremembering, but it's like a half hour for them to deal with Gojira in the previous film. But in this, it's like, they just drove him off in like less than a minute. But that's when it seems like all is well, and now it's time for payment. That's when Glenn and Fuji actually sneak off, and they see Miss Namikawa. is a Exilian, but there are a bunch of her. Which, okay, that's awesome. Come to find out that water is the most precious thing to the Exilians more than anything else, and they have piles of gold as well. Which, you know, if they really wanted to, they could have just bought a water plant or something from Earth. But we wouldn't have a movie then, so just go with it. They give the tape, and they actually recreate their rocket ship from the beginning of the film. Forgive me, my brain is spacer. I can't remember the name of the ship that they use. SY3, or is that a different film?
It's the P1.
P1. Okay, thank you. And they start to go home, and then we have a pretty funny but also sad thing where they're playing sad music as Godzilla and Rodan are like, "Hey, what about us?" And they actually comment like, "Oh no, it's like we're leaving them. I'll be all right. Think about the headache they left us. The miserable ones." And they go back.
Like, come back.
Yeah, and it's at this point they actually have little puppets of Godzilla and Rodan as well, as the rocket actually pulls further away from Planet X as well to give that little shot of them getting further away, which is just a fun little touch. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. I think I've talked a lot. So, okay, we're going to turn it over.
Well,
Walter, you want to?
I'll definitely take over. I mean, when I say take over, I'll jump into this. Add on to what was it? Yeah, that's right. They're not playing. Yeah. That's right. It's like as they say sci-fi, they do this. That's what they were doing. But no, they head back to Earth in the clone P1, and but before they leave, or as they're leaving, we see. Well, I think this happened earlier where we saw the commander, laughing and everything, and this is an effective scene where all the lights turn off behind him, and then you see him in shadows, like, and I'm just like, and he's speaking in alien tongue, and I'm just like, what's that all about, And the funny thing about this scene, because it was early in the film, but this particular moment, it was something that, like I say, what the Gojira was saying, there's just slight touches of change in the Japanese and the American cut. When we see him laughing and we see everything enveloped in darkness, it cuts in the American cut, it just stops right there behind him still in the light. But in the Japanese cut, it's all in dark. He goes in the dark. It's almost a metaphor saying there's something dark on the horizon.
Interesting. I didn't know that was a difference between that.
It's slight. It's very slight, but I mean, it's very effective. But they get back to Earth. But before they get back to Earth, we know that the inventor, he's trying to find out where Miss Nakatami is, and at this point he's been captured by he's been captured, and back and forth, he's locked up. And wait a minute, is he locked up yet? Yeah, he's locked up. He's locked up first, and they get back to Earth. And they play the tape for the people around them and everything. So they do that. But when they play the tape thinking that it's going to tell them how to cure all diseases, what they get is a ultimatum saying that seize all your wares of your freedom to us. In other words, you bow to your new masters, basically, is what they're saying.
They've been had. They've all been had.
They've been bamboozled.
You've been bamboozled, led astray, led muck.
I was going to point out something. I just looked up for the Japanese voice actor of Glenn, and Geek will know who Great Leader is in Kamen Rider, but segue for a sec. But he is the Great Leader. He is one of the big bads in Kamen Rider. Is the voice actor for Glenn's Japanese actor is the big bad in the original Kamen Rider.
The Great Leader of Shaka.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was just looking at that like, wait a second, that name sounds familiar, and then I see the name and I'm like, oh, that's so and so in Kamen Rider. Anyways, back to what you were. And then he was dubbed. He was to my knowledge, he was the only dubbed actor. Nick Adams is his name, that plays Glenn, in the American version.
Mm-hmm.
The American, and I think he was the only one that was dubbed in the language, like in the native language of English. And I think the others, they kept the sub versions in. And Anthony, and somebody can probably point this out in this movie, because I think Anthony was the one that actually pointed it out when we were doing the watch party for it. Anthony, do you want to chime in on this? Did I?
Anthony?
Oh, okay. I'm sure he'll be back in a sec. He muted himself.
Yeah. I might know, but he'd probably tell it better than I would. But just to continue on about the storyline is okay, they've been had and everything, and Glenn gives that one of the many phrases that he said, double cross and think, and we see Miss Nakama is there with the other, Zillions there, and it's like they walk away. So once this broadcast of saying submit to us, and this is something they used to do, and I think they kind of do a little bit of it now in modern time, but they did a lot. They just show stills of propaganda type of stuff of people ranting and rating, whatever, to give the idea that this is something horrific going on, to kind of give it a more robust moment to show that this is really serious. So Glenn, he actually goes to where Namakali works at, which is World of, what was it called? The toy manufacturer or whatever. It's that toy manufacturer place. He goes there looking for some answers, and he discovers her in her Zillion, outfit. And he said, I should have guessed, it's like, yes, you saw someone that looked just like me. And it's like, you better believe it, baby, So this is a crucial moment where, we find out that even though there's many faces of Namakawa's face on Planet X, we see that she is one of the few who are actually, not, affected by the mind control of what they should be doing. It's like they're supposed to be kind of like mindless, not so much mindless robots, but have no opinion of their own. But she's one of the few who's like broken through that. And in the midst of all that, she slips him a note saying how to defeat them. But when the controller, or the guy who's like a second, he's second in command, sees this, he tells one of his henchmen to pretty much just do away with her, just kill her. Just like, damn. It's like, yeah, and she really was. She was.
That's right, Sentry. That's right.
And, Sentry's right.
They kill her, and just the leader, And in this great moment of acting by Nick Adams, he says, "You rats, you stinking rats! What did you do to her?" I was like, wow. He just blurts it out, because he's like, even though he knows that that's that's not the one he saw on Planet X, it's still an effective moment where he realized, like, I did love this person, not for her visuals, but what's in her heart, And I think that's kind of an interesting take on knowing that how we feel about a person. Do we like them for what they have, what they do, what their title is? No, we like them or love them for who the person is on the inside. And this is why he gives such a massive rage moment when he says, what did you do to her, So throw that away. Okay, we move on. And we move on to where Fuji goes back to, the Earth headquarters, where they're doing, trying to find out, because he can't find Glenn now. You can't find him, and well, let me see. No, this is coming up on this. They're saying, that we're doing these things, and everything. We're trying to find Glenn, and his sister comes in and said, "Did you find Glenn?" It's like, no one can find him anywhere. It's like, why would he disappear like this? And then comes in the moment. Here's another explanation moment here. Now, you don't see it in the Japanese cut, but here it works really effective, where you hear some flying stars flying outside. There's a woman in the background and said, look outside the window. They don't do that in the Japanese cut, but here in the American cut, I think it works. Actually, I think it works great. I think it works beautifully. I mean, it may be seeming over the top, but it's enough to say, get you going and knowing that something's going on. So going to where they see the Exilian ship, it blows up one of the P1s, and then melts one of their radar dishes. I mean, what the radar maybe you might as well say radar dishes.
Go ahead.
Then he gives this ultimatum, another ultimatum right here, saying that you have not bowed down to what we suggested you do as Earthlings. And he pretty much says that, and he kind of gives away how they do it. Ghidra, Godzilla, Rodan are under our control by brainwaves. We control these monsters. And I don't know if you noticed that little notion there with Godzilla. This is something that Nakajima was good at, giving him some kind of performance with the suit acting that he does. When we see Rodan and Godzilla sitting down, you notice that Godzilla takes his hand and just gently brushes underneath his jawline. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of like, is that something? Because I'm not sure, because I'm pretty sure that has to mean something in Japanese culture. I'm thinking somebody knows this for sure. But I'm hoping the sci-fi knows.
When I saw that scene, I thought it was just Godzilla, like just doing the thumb across the throat, cutting his throat kind of thing.
Well, I mean, see, if that was the case, he would have just taken a finger and do it. But he took his whole hand and did that, and just gently went across his jawline right there. He didn't do it. He didn't do it across his throat. He did it across his, under his.
Good night, Sentry.
Oh, he's going to sleep.
Good night, Sentry.
All right. Sentry. Take it easy, Sentry. Yeah, we'll see you again. Have to see you again. But to get to the point of this moment is that they pretty much said you have 24 hours to get your affairs in order to bow down to us, or we're going to unleash these monsters on y'all behind, and then you're going to find out real pain. But as I said again, they kind of slipped up by telling them how the monsters are being controlled, and the what's his name? The short guy. He said that they mentioned something about brainwaves, radio waves or something like that. And they have a counteract thing to do this, to take it over, where they can block these waves, And this is one thing I can say about this film, other than the previous film. They do a lot of fighting. They do a lot of, interaction with it. This film has a real kind of really, I can say, strong storyline where it's a lot of things going on with this character or what action needs to take place or what action needs to go here. And I feel like, and I guess because it's taking place not just on Earth, but it takes place in space also, and bringing those elements together to bring out something that's more, just like, because it's like, you don't want just something to be just standalone moment to say that this is what's going on, and then, like I say, knowing that you got to do this in order to defeat this, and it's like, is it going to work, And I don't want to go on too much, because I mean, I can talk all through this thing, but I say I'll pass on to anyone else, to mention something. But just to kind of end it, it just shows that they had to get to work. And then this is where it transcends from Glenn getting put into the jail cell with,
Tetsuo.
Tatsuo. And you say, you too? It's like, this is a funny place for you to be at, So we find out something about we don't find out we don't find out right away. We just find out that they're in a cell that has no sound. It can't generate no kind of sound.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay.
Yeah. But I'll pass it on to someone else because, like I say, it starts to get really juicy after this. So if anyone wants to take over, I mean, you can. I mean, it's
I'll go from there. Yeah, it's soundproof, and they discovered during their time that Tetsuo's device that he'd been working on earlier, the alarm or whatever thing it was supposed to be.
Lady Guard.
Yeah, Lady Guard. There you go.
That somehow it produces just the right frequency to hurt the Xylians. So they use that to escape, and while they're choking one of them, it's just this ham choke, like tongue hanging out. Like,
yeah.
And from there, there's also discussion of how these metals can stop the signal from the Xylians controlling Godzilla to free them. And when they use that to stop the control, it's just Godzilla and Rodan lying. All three monsters just flop on the ground. And while Godzilla and Rodan, to me, it looks realistic. Gojira just flopping on the ground because he flops on his back with his head just flopping on his chest. It looks ridiculous, especially where his third head is laying. But I'm really summarizing this because I want to get to the point that of this, because this is also the last fight scene in the movie, because there's two. The earlier one that lasted 2 minutes, and this one in the last 15 minutes, and I think it only lasted like 5 minutes because there was some scenes of the monster destroying. They fall over unconscious. Godzilla and Rodan wake up and kind of look around and then look at each other and look at Ghidorah like, okay. And Ghidorah is just sitting, and they just start beating on Ghidorah before he even has a chance to get the fuck up. He's just lying there looking stoned, and all of a sudden he's getting fucking stomped on.
Right.
Okay. Oh.
And while this is happening, they start broadcasting Tetsuo's device over the aliens, and this is the part that just I've never been able to get. The Xylians hear the sound, they start freaking out, and then the Xylians on Earth, and then even the ones back at home all decide, well, guess I die, and they all just commit suicide. The fucking aliens, they just blow themselves up. And like, the ones on the home planet, can't you just shut the fucking radio off? No, it's just like, oh, I hear a sound that hurts me. Guess I die.
What would they have done when they encountered their first thunderstorm?
That's a good point, right? You see, yeah.
I was gonna have
or watch the first episode of the Nanny.
I know you were. I think you were muted when I brought this up about the dub. One of the characters was dubbed, and then the others were in their sub language. And I know you had brought that up in the movie when we watched it, Anthony, about how Glenn was in dub, and then the others were in their native language. So I thought that was interesting with this film. And if you want to go into detail about that, you can.
Well, this were like right at the end, like it was brought up like Ghidorah goes from having a seizure to getting beaten up before he can even get a chance to defend himself. And like, you almost feel sorry for him in this movie.
Yeah.
And then also in one scene in this final fight, Anthony pointed out that there's like 15 seconds? Is it 15 seconds? It's in the second. Do you remember the time, Anthony?
I can't remember. I'm actually trying to find where I screenshotted it. I can't find it, but like both fights are just super blink and you miss them short.
But he was saying when we were doing the watch party for this last week, he was saying there's a scene where Gojira goes feet first into a building, and it's real short, and you gotta watch to catch it. But his feet just go slam right into a building.
Godzilla only has like 5 minutes of screen time in this film.
In the very next shot after he lands on top of the building, he's like right behind the building off to the side.
Yeah, I remember the scene you were talking about. I don't remember what this was. Before when the monster was still under control, Gojira landed on a building, clearly destroying it, and then the next scene, the building's intact and he's just standing behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know exactly what scene you're talking about.
So basically, a fight ensues. All three topple into the. Is that where we're at? Where they topple off the cliff into the ocean?
Yeah, Rodan basically, after like the super short fight, Rodan picks Godzilla up, and they just all three fall off the side of the mountain into the ocean.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Gojira surfaces and flies outer space, while those watching speculate that Godzilla and Rodan are probably still alive. Fuji acknowledges Tetsuo's important role in the victory and no longer thinks poorly of him. Sakurai states that he wants to send Glenn and Fuji back to Planet X to study the planet thoroughly. The English dub says that they are to be ambassadors. The astronauts are reluctant, but make the best of the moment, happy that Earth is safe.
I mean, hell, sorry.
That actually doesn't make any sense, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Do we want to give our review scores first?
Oh yeah. In fact, I'll give mine. I'll give my first one on that. I can say this film. How can I say? I'll just say I feel like this. Out of a 10, I'm going to still say this one is a little bit, in my opinion, it's a little bit better than. Although I say I gave Gojira a 10, so that's what I would give this movie to. It's going to be a 10, also.
Me personally, I'd say maybe a 6 or a 6.5, because it's not a horrible movie, but like Godzilla's in an hour and a half movie. All the kaiju screen time is about 10-15 minutes max.
I would say it's about 10% of the movie.
I wouldn't even go that much. They just don't show up at all, and the rest is just non-monster stuff, and it's all right, but it's like I said, it's not the best movie, but it's 100% not nowhere near the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Me, if I weren't to use a number, I'd just say it's meh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Anubis.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Geek. This movie, I think, when I put it in my when I ranked all my Godzilla films a while back, was probably about middle of the pack. So definitely like a 6 or a 7. It's right in that range. It's not massively great, but it's not like at the bottom of the barrel either. So it's right around. I would grade it like a 6.
Good
Out of
popcorn
10 would
movie.
be good. Yeah.
I'm just curious. Curious what Kevin would probably put. I would say an 8 or a 9. I'm just assuming, just because it sounds like this is his favorite Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
For who?
For Kevin, I'm just guessing in my.
Oh, yeah.
Most
Yeah, well,
likely, yeah.
Yeah, but,
I mean, but look, like JEDI ranks Megalon way up there too. So I mean, Megalon is like, I think it's in my top 10 or top 15, but like JEDI has it way up there. So like everybody has their own opinions on different movies.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Gojira 851.
Yeah, I'd say this movie's about a 7. I like Gojira Three-Headed Monster a lot more than this film. This movie has a fun factor to it. I like the alien story. Like, if you take the monsters out of it, I like the alien invasion story. But as a Godzilla film, I feel it falls short. And the fun little parallels I see in modern day storytelling, especially the show Invincible, that it's on Amazon right now. The alien being that is resisting his alien race to fight his own way, Omni-Man, and like Miss Namikawa, she falls in love with a human, like Omni-Man falls in love with a human, has a family, all that stuff. He breaks free of that. A loud noise disorients this alien race and leads to them getting the shit kicked out of them, just like Mark and Invincible, how like future other Invincibles are the same. It feels like, like this movie like kind of set the groundwork for other things to get started. So this movie's important. It's just not very high for me. So yeah, I'd say 7.
Anthony Jordan.
Okay, time to. This is gonna make a lot of people mad.
Uh-oh.
Try me.
I'm not a fan of this film.
Okay.
I don't find like the human stuff or the characters all that interesting, and like the monster fights are just what I care about the most are just so ridiculously short. Like this one is just boring to me, so I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
Okay, that's cool. Hey.
Cool.
I use the terminology when I say films. Film is subjective. Somebody's gonna have, it's like Anthony. You might not like it. Somebody might like it. I have to agree though with Geek and Anubis. Though to me, it feels a 6 out of 10. It's just starts it. And Matt also, I agree with. It's it has those elements that it does not feel. It does not hit those moments where it feels like a Godzilla film, and that's just me. Anyways, do we want to go through our upcoming content?
Well, I was going to say, I definitely will say I got something coming up on the horizon. In fact, tomorrow, I will be, for the first time, doing a live stream on my channel, and it's going to be with the 1986 film The Hitcher, and I got some other things coming along the way, but yes, this is going to be my first outing. I'm doing my very first live stream on my channel, and I believe DJ New is going to be there if he's going to make it, and I believe Kevin Lambert will be there. I don't know if anyone else is going to be there, but it's going to be those two for sure. And we're going to be discussing this film in little great detail and just show how it's been so effective over the time. Because, like I say, this film is very much out there, kind of thing. But we'll get there when we break it down, though. But yeah, that's going to be my first outing, and I'm not sure if I got anything else as far as being on someone else's channel. But also, yes, the next following Saturday, I will be doing my 70th anniversary live stream of Godzilla Raised Again, which turns 70 years old this month.
Wow.
So definitely doing that.
This month?
Yeah, turning 70.
When does it turn 70? Just
On the 24th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speechless.
So hey. So there you go.
I know, Geek, do you have channel or stuff for content?
No,
Not yet?
not yet. When I do, I promise I'll advertise with that stuff. But for now, I ain't got anything worth advertising.
Well, you're more than welcome.
Earlier I streamed with a Twitch streamer named Tiger, but that's about biggest news I did.
Cool. Sounds like fun.
It was. We played Dark Tide.
DJ Anubis.
Yeah, so tomorrow, as Jedi mentioned, we're doing a Hitcher review, which it was a lot of fun going back and watching that again. Then later in the evening, the gentleman hosting the show, Mr. Olvin, and I will do my next vintage cult cinema pick, Wolfen from 1981, which we'll be reviewing. And then Saturday, I will get together with Mr. Tony the Dead, his wife, and Neko as we review the movie Long Legs. Then into next week, I know I got a lot of shit here, but next week on Monday, I'm doing a live unboxing. I got a lot of stuff that I'm going to show off that I've gotten in over the last few weeks. So going to be doing that. Then Thursday, the 24th, Poet and I are doing a live NFL draft show for the first round of the NFL draft. So if anybody's into sports, watch football, wants to hang out and talk to us while we watch the draft a little bit, you're welcome to join us. And then, of course, Saturday, I'm not sure if anybody from here, maybe Anthony's will be involved. I'm not sure, but Into the Darkness with Kevin Lambert, we're doing the Wreck movies, the franchise.
Yeah.
And then later in the evening, go ahead.
Aren't we doing the Wednesday, the next Twisted Childhood?
Yeah. I haven't put on the schedule, but yeah, for Ghouls at Midnight with Mr. Tony the Dead, we're doing actually 2 picks. I got Kill Her Goats, and then of course Blood and Honey 2 from Winnie the Pooh. So I got to put it on my list here. I just forgot to do it, but. The other thing on Saturday, later in the evening, Kevin Lambert has his education podcast series, and so he and I are going to sit down and talk a little bit about heavy metal.
Saturday the 26th, right?
Yeah. So that's basically it for me.
Gojira 851.
So I'm going to be hopefully doing a small review on this guy, the Hiya Toys Godzilla 2014. Okay, and doing some short videos on him as well. I also just pre-ordered the Hokkaido Hiya Toys Godzilla 1991 as well. Later, next month it is. Doom the Dark Ages comes out on PlayStation 5. I'm going to be live streaming that when I can. Also, I have an X Plus figure coming in, I guess in July as well. Also, I pre-ordered the X Plus fake Godzilla from the film Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and I'm going to be doing a double review with that and the 25 centimeter Godzilla 1974. In the next couple of weeks, there is an Event Horizon stream coming up. I am trying to work my schedule around to try and be a part of that because Jedi Granville and I, along with the Sci-Fi Century and our Maiden Voyage stream and the Sci-Fi Collective actually reviewed that film, and it's time we review it again with the entire collective now because we have grown quite a bit, and I love talking with all these people, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. And so,
my favorites.
yes, it's an excellent film. And also, shout out to Mr. Sam Neill for being a part of the Monsterverse. Could be the next Godzilla film, Godzilla X Kong 3, or whatever the film is going to be called. So, yeah, fun stuff coming on my channel soon. So, yes.
Awesome.
Nice.
Anthony Jordan.
Well, the next thing I'm pending on the horizon is my Godzilla versus Megalon review. I got a dentist appointment Monday after that, depending how I feel from the Novocaine. I'm probably going to watch it and probably start recording and editing the review Tuesday.
You haven't.
Very nice.
Is that all?
Well, I got the up and coming with the guest appearances. I will be part of the Event Horizon. I'm going to be with Anubis and Tony of the Dead doing Blood and Honey 2, and Saturday we're doing for Into the Darkness on Kevin's channel. We're doing the Wreck franchise.
Mm-hmm. Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not trying to rush him or anything.
Oh, no, you-
Good all, man. You don't got any more? Come on.
we got
Calm down, Shogun. Calm down, Shogun. Come on. Let's talk. Let the man speak.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyways, I know me and DJ Anubis have. Is it Wolfen? Is that the name of the movie?
Yep.
Wolfen. Why am I? I don't know. I got it confused earlier today. The movie title. So we'll be doing that on his channel for his what is it? Cinematic.
It's vintage cult cinema.
Vintage cult cinema. I can say for a fact that Silver Screen Savants will be returning in May.
Cool.
Nice.
Right? And I want to grab Jedi Grand Veil for Star Wars when we cover that stuff.
Right. When is that supposed to be? In May or sometime?
We haven't set a date. Right.
I mean, whenever. I mean, I'm down for that for sure.
But we were going to kick it off with They Live.
Oh yes.
A Roddy Piper movie.
Might as well say that's what it is.
David is in it also.
Keith David, yes.
But I believe our selection show should be. So we have an event on the 15th of May. We have our anniversary thing coming up.
Okay.
I had for the longest time, I put a thought to it. And at first I'm like, I should do the Ultraman in it, but we haven't covered Ultraman, so why should we not do Ultraman? You know what I mean? If you haven't covered it. So I decided to change it up. And I don't know if you'd be fine with this, Geek, or not, but I wanted to do Godzilla versus the Gamera franchise instead, because both are kaijus, both have some cool both have kaiju, like a versus, like how Anubis did his versus with his birthday thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be even cooler than just. Because you're going to cover kaijus in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's May 15th when we hit 100 subs on this channel. We're doing a giveaway with one of these DBZ lanyards. Anthony pointed out on Mothra versus Godzilla that he had some inspiration for the Godzilla designs or something. I can't remember the whole details. Other than that, we don't have. I cannot say. I think our next show might be. I think it is going to be. Is it Ebra?
Ebra horror.
Ebira.
Yes, the monster that originally was supposed to be a King Kong villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ebira.
That's
The
definitely
sea
one of the
monster?
worst movies made.
Is that his name? Ebira the sea monster?
No, every horror of the deep.
Ebira Horror of the Deep. Sorry, I've got my brain is like scattered. So
No, it's fine because it does have some different titles too.
True.
There's always different,
I'll tell you what, that movie makes me hungry.
You know what? Yeah, it does.
And if I'm not mistaken, has it never been released in English? Has it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it
Anyway,
I haven't seen the dub.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen the dub, so we'll be checking out the dub.
I think it has two different dubs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
probably.
Yes, yeah. There was the original VHS dub, and then they remastered it. I think it was by Kraken. I think it was. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. I got it right here. Hold on.
Truth be told, I like the original dub. I think it's better, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Whatever
Kraken. Yeah, it was by Kraken. Yeah. They released the Kraken, and they did a whole bunch of those films back when Godzilla 2014? I think it was when Godzilla 2014 came out. They released a bunch of Godzilla films through Kraken Media. They did a bunch of them with all new like voice acting and HD and all the other jazz on Blu-ray and stuff like that. So
I didn't
yeah.
hear much about that.
Before the Criterion Collection. That I haven't gotten the Criterion Collection of it. Apparently, those are all the original Japanese, just higher definition versions of the Japanese version. But Kraken Media is the English version, just higher quality and different like voice acting ish stuff. So yeah.
But it should be covered. The my brain goes shut down now. May 1st, if anything, May 1st would be the first chance we get at it, because we normally, what we do is the week before, the first week we watch the movie, do the watch parties and stuff, and then the week after is when we cover these. But anyways, this has been Tokusatsu Action Thursday Night Titans episode 10. We got the Sci-Fi Society crew. I gotta say it since
The crew.
And
Y'all crazy.
we got special guest Gojira 851 Matt for his first episode on the show.
There you go.
Really
And-
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice to have you, brother.
Greatly accepted. Thank you.
We will see you all next time, and get your henshin on.
Yeah.
Have a good